You're listening to The Bon Ree Show. A very welcome to our first recording on this new station. Anybody who has listened to the show before will know that the show is about many different controversial subjects. And this station, we'll be talking about many different things, and it'll be a variety of different people speaking on many different subjects. So on The Bon Ree Show, we usually have a breakdown of every day. We talk about different things. So say on the Monday, I will be talking about the EU. On a Tuesday, we'll be talking about the financial Ireland and the mess that Ireland is in and why it's in this mess. Wednesday, we'll be talking about Islam and its part to play in the mess that we are living in. Thursday, we'll talk about the UN and NATO and its part that it's playing in the mess we're living in. And on Friday, we'll talk about Ireland and its mess that we are in. Saturday, we'll cover all subjects. Sunday, we'll have a family day, because I believe that's very important, that we keep in place our family values. We are in extremely dark, distressing, scary times. You know that old expression, ignorant is bliss, and sometimes I wish I was more ignorant, or I didn't read so much, or I wasn't so curious, because it is pretty scary as the media and everybody is concentrating on the coronavirus. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't be, but there's a whole other thing in play while they're keeping our minds active and our health active and worrying about the coronavirus. That there is a huge invasion happening into Europe now. Turkey have opened their borders. There's fake pictures and fake stories, like the one that originally we saw in 2015, you know, the boy who was supposed to be drowned and found out that he wasn't drowned. Whole fake stories. Lots more of those fake stories coming about, and fake pictures, into making you believe that this is a desperate situation, that these are families, these are children, these are in a desperate situation to get food and get help. They're in a war zone. It's all fake. This war in Syria is over. Most of them aren't even Syrians. They come from many different countries that aren't even in war. A majority of them are young men. Now, some of them are economic. You'll find that a lot of them even have credit cards from Soros, who's paying for this. It's absolutely very, very scary. So while they're trying to keep our minds and our health worried, which, you know, on the coronavirus, I'm not even going to go into that today, but that's another story. You know, the Germans from the EU comes over and tells us that our Dáil isn't diverse enough. Erdogan tells Europe to expect millions of migrants. Erdogan, whatever his name is, the Turkey leader, Erdogan, I can't pronounce his name, but tells us millions of migrants via Turkey because of open borders. Thousands have gathered at the Greek border, really unfair on the Greeks, and people are like condemning the Greeks now for fighting back and trying to, because they're in an awful place, now, you know, there's call out for other Europeans to take these fake migrants, these male Muslim men in to their countries and put their daughters and their children and whoever life on the line. Don't worry about that. Just take them in. For no really reason that we should be doing this. With more fake stories about the whole thing. So, I mean, really, Turkey wants an Islamic Europe, and this is all what this is about. And that he wants an Islamic Europe, and he wants to be the head of this Islamic Europe. And then you have the Germans, the EU, Germany, and the French really destroying what was Europe through the EU. So millions of migrants via the Turkey border, you know, are heading up towards Greece. And, you know, the Greece are beginning to fight back, and so they should do. And then, Turkey, Erdogan, whatever his name is, I cannot pronounce his name, says that Merkel says that nobody has the right to blackmail or intimidate the EU. Very odd. Like, if she could easily handle this, it's like almost like it's not even a real thing she's saying. Could have fought this ages ago. She has made European countries take them in. So, this could have well been easily taken care of. But it's obvious. They have credit cards from Soros coming in. Because of not allowing Turkey to join the EU, Turkey has been threatening the EU with this, what they're doing now. They're keeping us busy with the coronavirus. Thoughts of that. But because Turkey wasn't allowed to join, because they wouldn't follow basic human rights. So they are now threatening to flood Europe. Well, they've not just threatened, they're doing it as we talk. Had started a while ago. They've called for more financial support, blackmail basically. But they turned down 1 billion, adding to the 6 billion euros that they were already getting from 2016, because Merkel had given them 6 billion to try and keep the migrants back. Like, such a load of rubbish. Really is rubbish. Either she's a complete idiot, which, I do think she is, but more than that, she is a danger. She is an extreme danger to Europe, to the whole continent, and has been for a long time, and to our own country. There's been so many women murdered and raped in Germany itself, and nothing done. No stopping the border, no even discussion on it. So much so that when the UN had their migrant pact, that it was actually made illegal to speak out about it. And then they're trying to bring in so-called hate speech law, so you won't be allowed to talk about it. It is absolutely like living in the Twilight Zone, an insane part of history. I think people in the next generation will be looking back and reading and going, were they just all brain dead, that generation? Why could they not see? This is an invasion without a war. An Islamic rule into Europe. And it's so obvious to see. The EU are doing nothing, or want to do nothing. NATO enables this attack on Europe. Why is Turkey allowed in NATO is another thing. And they're pretending to protect Europe. From who? From the so-called Russians, that they have their troops on the Russian border. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, it's just Islamic appealers. That's what this whole EU, Germany are. Islamic appealers for money. So they get money off, because Islam doesn't really care so much about money. It cares about pushing Islam into Europe. And unfortunately for a lot of European leaders, they don't really care about their country or their people. They care about money. So if they're getting free handers, particularly in Ireland, they'll allow all this destruction of their country happen, and the rape and the murder of the women and children in the country, because they're getting money for it. They're lining their own pockets. They're getting bigger houses. They don't care. This is all Islamic appealers for money. It really is absolutely disgraceful and really scary that this is happening. Ironically, only Poland, Hungary, and increasingly Austria are awake to this invasion, or interested in protecting their countries or Europe. The Balkan states are the only ones stopping this, by putting its old foes and rivalries aside and cooperating with one another. This could all be quelled, but the enemy within, Germany, EU, who won't allow them to take care of this matter swiftly and efficiently. They say because it violates human rights. it's insane. It is obvious what's going on, but we're more interested in, and I'm not saying that the coronavirus isn't a big thing, it is absolutely, but the destruction of Europe. And nobody is speaking, other than, Poland and Hungary, who are willing to step up and stop this invasion happening. And while we have, again, nobody talking about this, hundreds march against Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael collusion, a stitch up